I'm under your spell.
Hey there, I'm Frankie B. Back in October of last year, right before the remake released, I made a video that called the original Silent Hill 2 overrated and misunderstood. It was a lot of fun. But then the rest of the year hit. I was busy, I was lazy, there were the holidays, I wisely decided to play a 100-hour CRPG, I had microphone troubles, I had computer troubles, I got a little sidetracked. So I'd like to lay out a pretty basic roadmap and trailer for the channel here before I get something more proper worked up. So, what's the point of this channel? Well, see, I like video games, but I notice that when most people talk about them, it's often as if any given title exists only in a vacuum and not in a time and place, as if the people that made the game live in a void as opposed to a country and a culture, and as if the person talking themselves really has no interest in or awareness of anything other than video games. But see, I like things that aren't video games, like, say, thinking about how the 2008 financial crisis led to a dramatic lowering of the interest rates, which in turn led to the explosive growth of the tech sector in the early 2010s, about how that growth in turn made streaming into a consumer-grade technology, and how that early advent of streaming and its gravitation towards spooky walking simulators really laid the groundwork for PT to create a resurgent explosion of interest in a game franchise that had, well, right before then, kind of spun wildly out of control and was busily tumbling down a cliff. In addition to a lot of game critique lacking that broader context, I also feel that a ton of it just has this undertone of insecurity. A lot of people don't seem to think that you can talk about games in the way that you would a book, a song, or a movie. As if we need to put on the kitty gloves and assume that the medium just as a whole should not be held to any artistic standards because, well, are games really art or are they just products? Here's my take. This is art. And this is art. This is art. And this is art.
Next time you try that, I won't aim at the board.
You're a headstrong young man. I was only going to turn on the televisor so you could see her movements.
This is art.
Well, the bad news is the train appears to be just out of your reach, but I still got a couple of tricks up my sleeve here. Yaha! Yes, that's the ticket. The Excelsior line.
And this is art. Art is great. Art is shit. Who cares? Sometimes I just want an excuse to learn some basic editing techniques and to tell stupid jokes, and that is exactly what this channel is for. Since it's a side project among side projects, my update schedule is going to be erratic at best, but here's what I've got cooking. The next effort-involving video is going to take a look at two games that released last year into long-running franchises, both of whom were at one point valued for their characters, their world-building, their storytelling, and the both of which saw themselves steered by new, bright-eyed writers straight into the cliffside. That would be Dragon Age: The Veilguard and Final Fantasy XIV: Dawn Trail. The second big effort video that I've got in the works, oh yeah, it's time, for the Silent Hill 2 remake. Seeing as how the Locusts have long since moved on to fillet whatever the Game of the Year or the Week is, it seems like a good time to really break down where it veers from the original, whether that works, and if it stands on its own. Maybe while we're at it, a little bit of comparison to Bloober's other titles to see how they've grown, but I'm not so sure about that part yet. I still gotta figure that out. The last idea that's on my mind at the moment is a bit more amorphous. See, Baldur's Gate 3 is a solid game, which reminds me a lot of the original Mass Effect. explosive popularity with people who do not like RPGs, which, through no fault of its own, kind of creates these negative trends that make their way into the genre. Like, Mass Effect convinced everybody that, oh, my game needs to look a lot more like a movie, and also, people hate systems. Dumb it down and put in crappy Gears of War combat. But of course, I'm getting ahead of myself there. Those are all of what I've got bouncing around at the moment, but I'm sure that more nonsense will make its way into my head over time. Thanks for watching, and if you are a fan of dumb editing jokes and or things you can just throw on in the background and half pay attention to until I say something stupid and outrageous, well, stay tuned.
My name is Wuk Lamat.
And I'm non-binary.